What made you let go of everything that you built over years and pack your stuff and move to India?
I took these mushrooms and I realized that mainstream medicine, I don't care how much they pay me, I cannot be part of this rat race.
I'm climbing all these ladders and then look at this, like I could lose the most important person to me like this.
And I did. It was an extremely humbling experience to realize how much us as Western doctors don't know what the f is going on. It was very freeing to let go of my possessions, let go of a lot of my beliefs, and let go of the idea that I need to constantly do stuff, produce stuff. And India was life changing for me. And I would see these people that defy reality.
I'm crying again? Hi everyone, welcome to the Uncommons, where we challenge the ordinary and explore what it really takes to build a meaningful life. I'm Parisa.
Paige.
And today we're going to talk about a man who was a very successful doctor, built a sizable practice, decided to sell it all and pack everything and let go of all his belongings and move to India. So, sir,
Yes.
what made you let go of all your money and cars and titles and women and everything that you built over years and pack your stuff and move to India?
First of all, I want to thank you for having me on your show and not knowing what we're going to talk about at any given time. So, just for everybody's knowledge, I have no clue what I'm going to get myself into with this woman every single time. No f***ing clue. Secondly, most of what you said is true. I did an exit and in 2010, sold all my healthcare companies and stuff like that. And I ended up working for the company that I sold to, which is very common when you have an exit. And it was awesome, actually. It was really cool to be in the corporate world and make decisions and not be responsible for all the day-to-day stuff as a business owner. And I was there for 3 years. I enjoyed it. I would be taking my calls while I'm skiing. But it was great to not have that level of responsibility and have already exited and had a good amount of money, which I worked really hard for. I had a little mini hospital, and it was very rewarding to do what we did. I had the emergency room there that we took care of these people, and it was in a rural area. Just amazing, very fulfilling. I was the head guy. We had 20 docs there, and we did all the specialties, and it was a lot of ego involved in that as well, right? And then once you start reaching these things that a lot of people work for, including myself, all their life. Oh, you got to become a doctor and you got to be financially happy, and then you need the ego of being the best or whatever. All those accolades and all those mountains that you got to climb and conquer to be complete. And you get there, and it was funny. I was working for this company, and I told them, okay, well, I'm going to leave now. I really helped them out. I designed some unbelievable cool things that was out of the box for this company. Now it's being used all over the U.S. Again, another ego thing. But I really felt like I've given to them what would have been equivalent to it was my own business. And it really did well for the company. And I told them, look, I've done this. They offered me a great package, compensation package, which I don't think they've offered that many doctors in the country, those kind of numbers. And before I left, I told them I'm leaving, and they said, well, I said, unless you guys can pay me the next level of achievement, right? Get the biggest paycheck that any doctor's ever gotten in the US with these kind of benefits and blah, 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 blah. I told my boss, I'm going to go to Burning Man. I'll be back in 10 days. And, if they give me the deal, I'll stay. If not, I'm gone. So I remember I was trying to figure out, like, what's the next step now, right? What do you do? Right? I got money. I got status. I got all this stuff, and I took a bunch of mushrooms, and prior to this decision, going to Burning Man and all that, I had started down this path of self growth, self journey, and I've done that. I've been into self improvement since I was 18 years old, so it wasn't new. But with hallucinogenics, which at that time was like an absolute no-no. Now it's becoming a little more mainstream. 17 years ago, it wasn't. And I had flown down into the jungles of Amazon from Peru and met with his third generation curado, which is like a doctor, kind of a shaman doctor. Was a shaman, and I did ayahuasca with this guy with this amazing ceremony. It was just this incredible.
And what came out of it for you?
With the
Ayahuasca.
ayahuasca was the understanding and ability that there is so many dimensions that we just don't know about, and we live in this daily physical thing that we do, and we completely bypass a lot of our energetic abilities that we get into with deep meditation and which I've done, years of yoga, meditation. Even though it sounds like it is a journey kind of a thing, it's almost like a fad. I'm not saying there's not anything wrong with the fad, but I don't believe in it if it's not done right. I don't believe in doing mushrooms really for
Microdosing.
recreational purposes, right? And for me, is an experience of like a religious experience, very spiritual. Spirituality has been huge in my life. Mysticism, spirituality is innate, and I think our culture, the Persian culture, is very, very deeply ingrained in spirituality. Getting back to the discussion of ayahuasca, if it's not done in the right spot, if it's not done where this stuff comes from, the ability to connect to nature and to connect to this deep web of connections, kind of like the movie Avatar. I had experience with it, right? So I'm sitting with all my friends. I go to Burning Man every year. I've been going there for a long, long time. Since 2008 was my first time I went to Burning Man, and at that time, the people that would go to Burning are like super cool people. Elon Musk was there. Some of the Peter Thiel was there. Really interesting people. But I took these mushrooms, and I remember I was laying up in here, and I was just like connected, and I realized that mainstream medicine, I don't care how much they pay me, I don't care what it is, I cannot be part of this rat race. I cannot be part of this environment that feeds McDonald's to these children that are obese at a 50% rate in the US. And then I gotta be in charge of getting him hypertensive medications or diabetic medication. This is, to me, it's not right. And it's not real medicine. I just didn't believe in it. So I came back. And my boss calls me and goes, "Oh my God, you're not gonna believe this. I can't believe the the CEO of the company agreed to this thing. I got you everything you wanted." And he's a good friend of mine. I sat there, and by this time I knew down deep inside, it wasn't a mental thing. My mind and my brain told me, "Oh my God, sign the contract. You're gonna get millions of dollars with stock." I was financially fine, especially after I sold my company. But this would be like the next level thing and make huge decisions. All the ego would come in, all the money would come in, and all the status and all that stuff would be up here. Check, right? And down deep inside, once I connected with my true self interior, I'm like, I can't be part of that. It's not in my genetics. I became a doctor to help people. Truly, to this day, you see it every day. I love that. It's part of my DNA, and this would be against my own DNA. And had I not done mushrooms, I don't think I would have gone there. So the reason I like psychedelics is it kind of facilitates to get there. I honestly wish, and I've worked really hard, and I'm getting closer to be able to get that state of mind without enhancement of drugs or medicine or whatever you want to call it. Like everybody tries to justify getting from here to there quickly by whatever they want to call it, spirituality or whatever you want to call it. But that's how I decided not to continue going down that path.
So you said farewell to material.
Yeah, so I got rid of everything I had. You know, I had a really, really cool bachelor pad on the 27th floor of the only building on Las Vegas Boulevard. My bathtub looked down the strip. You know, it was, whatever. And I just gave the keys to my buddy. I'm like, here you go. I'm out. Sold all my cars, a lot of my stuff, and had a backpack with a girlfriend of mine, just a friend that was a girl. I wasn't dating her. We were just been friends forever.
Thank you for clarifying.
I just want to make sure. We headed to India, and it was an unbelievably eye-opening experience across the whole entire thing.
Why did you pick India?
Diana, who was a friend, my friend was Australian. She was moving back from the US to Australia, and she wanted to go to India. My yoga instructor, who was an amazing woman, changed my life, had gone to this place in south of India to admit herself as a patient to this hospital that does Ayurvedic medicine. So I wanted to go learn about Ayurvedic medicine, but I also wanted to completely get out of the Western world and go to these monasteries and be able to meditate and just go inside. And I was just so tired of, after reaching all these accolades and all this stuff, I was like, what's next?
Did that coincide with your mom getting sick or no?
Yeah, so my mom had gotten sick, and the 3 years I was working for that company, I was taking care of my mom, and she was doing well for a short period of time. She was in remission. That's when I went to India, and it was a big deal for me when my mom got sick.
Yeah, that kind of puts things into perspective.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly.
I'm climbing all these ladders, and then look at this. Like, I could lose the most important person to me like this.
And I did.
And you did.
It wasn't like this. It took her 7 years.
Well,
which
they
was
told you it would be a few months.
really to have all the money, have all the education, have all the toys and and my mom is dying, and there's nothing I could do. Like that feeling of helplessness, or what is more, there's so many things more important than all this stuff that we've been taught in the Western world that are important. So my yoga instructor had been there before, and we were very close friends, and she told me, she's like, you gotta go. That's when I decided we're gonna go to India with Diana, because she was with me at Burning Man.
Things aligned.
It was like the stars are aligned. I mean, when things are supposed to happen, it'll happen. Things it'll happen, like you and I, or just like
It
things.
flows.
It flows. So
you packed up and you got yourself to India.
packed up my sold everything I had. I took a one-way trip to India ticket with a backpack. That's all I had, and it felt like I'm free. Even though when people think that they're gonna get the education, all these things, and that's what's gonna give them freedom.
Money is going to give them freedom.
Money is gonna give you freedom. Once I got rid of all that, I felt like I'm so light. I have a backpack, and that's it. So we went to some of these places, ended up in an ashram, a monastery, and in the Himalayas. The most spiritual city in India is called Rishikesh. When we approached this place, it was just getting light out, and the only way to get in the city is walking over the river on this old bridge with monkeys all over it, and the sun's coming out, and you see nothing, fog, and then all of a sudden, in front of you, you see this mountain that has got monasteries hanging off of it. Just one of the most overwhelming sights of my life. I was in the monasteries up in the Himalayas for a while. And then after that, I went down south to Coimbatore to study Ayurvedic medicine, plant-based medicine. And it was really interesting at that time.
So after practicing medicine for 17 years, you admitted yourself to a hospital in India to be a patient, to learn about Ayurvedic medicine.
That's right. Yeah.
How did that go?
Well, it was
What about all the oil pulling?
it was an extremely humbling experience to realize that how much us as Western doctors don't know what the is going on. And I sat in front of these doctors, who I told them, hey, like they knew I was coming. They were expecting me to. There's a bunch of different students there, and they know I was a board certified physician, blah blah, U.S. And I came in and they're asking me these questions, and they work with doshas, right? They're like they check your pulse and your eye color and your tongue and your stool and stuff like that, and they kind of figure out where you are and how your body's off balance or on balance. And I wanted to be admitted as a patient just to see the patient, but to see what the patients go through. What is it like to be an Ayurvedic patient, right? But the guy really admitted me because
You didn't want to be admitted?
well, I wanted to kind of be admitted, but just kind of be there and talk to other patients. But investigate. But he really admitted me because he's like, dude, your doshas are off. I'm like, what does that mean?
What is a dosha?
What is that? I'm like, what do you guys do for hypertension, blood pressure medicine? And these guys are MDs that have now gone, so they like stopped specializing in Ayurvedic medicine. They're like us, right? And it's like, we don't do it that way here. The high blood pressure is a symptom of your doshas being not in balance. I'm like, what? So I got admitted, and the guy told me, you were so vata, which is anxiety and type A trauma, emergency room. And he told me, I just need you to surrender.
Imagine telling you that.
I'm like,
telling you 15 years ago that.
I'm like, what do you mean surrender? He said you can read one chapter a day. No computers, no phones, no cell phones, no talking to anybody else. I'm like, okay, well, and then what? I was like, and then just be. I'm like, how do you just be? I'm like, what do you mean be? So I said, okay, I can do this. Fine, I'll do it.
I can do anything in my life.
I can do anything. I'm this guy, So I read my 5 pages within the first 10 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever it was. And I sat there for 10 minutes and 30 minutes. And by the hour that went by doing nothing, I was gonna pull my hair out. I was like, I was gonna die. And then I'm like, no, I could do this. So, 1 hour went to 2 hours. And there was this other student, Australian lady. She saw me like a fish out of water. I'm dying by the 3rd hour. And I'm sitting sitting in my room. And it's not like regular hospital rooms. It's like a little bungalows because they believe that you are with nature. So it's all within nature. You have a little bungalow, a little balcony, and all the medicine is plant-based medicine. So all the and the entire village is involved. So they get the plants from the village, from stuff that grows under the cow poop, and the cows are sacred. Every night at 7 p.m. they would do puja, which is prayers, where they would get cow shit and they burn it inside. And it didn't smell bad, but it was like it's a whole different lifestyle. But that was part of my treatment, to be there and to meditate and pray.
So what happened with the Australian lady?
Oh, anyhow, so yeah, you're right. So she goes, oh, how you doing? I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm supposed to surrender, and I don't know how to surrender. And she goes, well, really need to talk to the doctor. He goes, well, he already saw you this morning, right? I'm like, yeah. He goes, you're not gonna. You gotta save them tomorrow morning. I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like what? Like so she's just like, well, just try to like breathe and kind of like be. And I'm like, what is this being be? You guys keep talking about being be. So I beat for, and then she just saw right through me, and she's been there for a while, and then she came back in half an hour. She goes, "You all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, madam, I'm being be." And so she goes, "Yeah, I'll come and check on you," and then she would come back every half an hour, and she's kind of ushered me through the first day, and halfway through the day you go to get this Ayurvedic massage, which is pretty cool. First day and the second day, but the fourth day you want to kill yourself because of your balance and your doshas. You eat certain things, and there's only certain foods you can have, and then they have special oils that they rub you with and kind of detoxify you. And so the first day went by, and I went to puja at 7, and then and 8 o'clock you have to have your foods and stuff like that. And by I don't remember 8:30 or 9, everything's out, and you need to go to bed by 9 o'clock. So and no phones, no computers, no electronics, nothing plugged in
And then,
anywhere.
just for perspective, that's right after your party days that you would sleep 2, 3 hours a night and just like be up and work hard and party hard and all that. Pretty much. Okay.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, I
Go
mean,
to bed at
yeah, I
9.
was used to going to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, being out at 5, working out, and then I'll get up and I'll be up at 5 o'clock in the morning to be. I'm like, "Shit, I don't see the doctor till like 9 o'clock in the morning, so I will fall asleep again."
So how long did this extreme discomfort take to kind
Well,
of ease up?
first day was like unbearable. Second day was still very unbearable. Like it took 3 or 4 days to just kind of like remember jumping out of planes. Like we did training, um, skydive to be skydivers. At the beginning when you jump out, it's like it took a while before things calmed down, but then I was getting into the groove of things. It took me about a week. By the second week, it was really, really hard again because now they're giving you on my massage hours every day, which was very, very difficult. Now by this time, they're putting oil up your ass. So I'm getting 750 cc's of oil in my rectum to clean you out. It wasn't something going up your ass that was problematic. It was just like when you cleanse out, right, and all the toxins are leaving your body. It's just like it's crazy. Usually you live with toxins, and they start coming out from what you eat, and they look at your stool, and my stool started changing, and my eye colors. When I was a kid, my eyes were green and they were brown, and then like I would look at myself in a mirror, lost 20 pounds.
Wow.
My eyes were green. My skin was glowing. I started remembering phone numbers from 20 years ago.
Wow.
I started having these dreams that were like, they were pure. They were almost like very loving and mild and connected. It was just like I was 20 days out.
So you stayed for 20 days.
I stayed for the whole time. Changes that happened to me there were far greater than the changes that happened to me at the ashram, at this monasteries where I was at in the monasteries. We were up at 4 o'clock in the morning in the freezing cold in the Himalayas. And the doors were like, it was brick and metal doors, and that's it. Like big metal doors. We slept on a slab of concrete with 2 Himalayan blankets on top of you, freezing cold, and we get up and you have to wash your face and wash your body freezing cold at 4 a.m. and then go into meditation for 4 hours and all that kind of shit, right? And it was amazing, life changing. We didn't talk for half a day, and then when you eat, you're not talking to anybody. You're with your food. You're with what you're gonna put in your body. It was just unbelievable.
And compared to that, you felt like it was more cleansing.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was just life changing. But I went there as a vegetarian, as a pescatarian for 4 years. I realized that we need meat in our body.
What happened?
So I was in like some anatomy classes that they're teaching all the non-MD students there. As a teaching course. I was there, and then they're looking at they're talking about the human gut. And we have the small intestine, like the cow's small intestine, which is like very tortuous. And then we also have the large intestine, which is like the lion's, straight out. And so we're meant. I realized, oh my! It just came to me that like Western medicine doesn't teach you that. Even their medicine didn't teach you that. But then I realized we are both herbivores and carnivores. I started eating meat again. Not then, but when I came out slowly, and I just felt so much more clear. My muscles started filling out. So that's something I came out with. I came in as a vegetarian or a pescatarian. I came out as a meat eater. Secondly, I started believing in aliens because I didn't understand, like, how do these guys know? Like, how do they know if they take a dried leaf and mix it with the root of this other plant in oil, mix them together, and that is going to um, change your doshas in a way that you become balanced. There was a patient there that had psoriasis, like covered with scabs, that in Western medicine, we just give them steroids because we don't know what to do, right? And it doesn't really help much. I saw this guy in 3 weeks. He was my next door guy. 3 weeks. He still had marks all over the place where the scabs were, but 90% of the scabs were gone. I have never seen that in Western medicine. So I'll ask and ask and ask. I'm like, well, you got to do this root with this and this. I'm like, how do you know which root? He goes, well, it's from the sutras. And he goes, well, it's part of Ayurvedic medicine. I'm like, I know, but you got it from whoever you got it from. But where did they get it from? And where did they get it from? And then I went back and back and back and back, and it came from the sutras of what these guys that came in, like Shiva, and each ashram, each monastery is dedicated to one of their gods. And one of these gods came on a swan, and one of these guys came on this a big egg that came down and gave the sutras and gave them these rules. I don't see them much different than aliens. Right? Again, I don't know about aliens, but I started believing that, okay, who comes in an egg?
Something more than humans.
More than
Whatever.
humans. Yeah. Which are their
Higher
gods.
power.
Higher power.
/ alien.
And then Shiva came in, and the Himalayas people believe that, and he put his hair down, and from the hair, all the water of the Ganges River started. And there all these folklore stuff came in, but that's where they got their medicine from, which works. And I remember the most important thing I got out of this thing when I was there is that to this day, when I want to get back to my deep meditation where I was mostly connected to the universe and to the world, was when I left that place on a taxi to go to the airport. And I'm sitting in this taxi, and I was breathing in and out, and I was connected to everything and everyone. And by the way, when you get into India, you walk off the airplane, the sound level of the entire country is 10 decibels higher than anywhere else in the world. There's cows, there's rickshaws, people honking, little mopeds going around, cows walking in the middle of it, the monkey sitting on their back. It's crazy shit. It's just loud as fuck. Right? And you have this thing, and I'm sitting there in this taxi, and I remember, and to this day, this morning, when I meditate, I try to get back to my most connected space. I imagine myself in that taxi ride where I felt like we're going, and if the entire world melted around me, there's nothing that could faze me on who I am, where I am, and how connected I am to everybody in the universe. It is the most cleansed, the most pure form of myself I've ever been. And that was such a great learning, and it was such a great lesson. India was life-changing for me.
There is a saying in Sufism that once you strip away yourself from all your belongings, all your toxins, everything that you have accumulated, which is a lifelong journey, then the goal of this life is to be able to get to that pure place, which is then you can be connected to the creator and become one with the one, right?
Yes.
Do you think that's what you experienced once you let go of all your physical attachments, all your physical body, whatever it accumulated, and purified it?
Yeah.
Or
Well,
as close as it gets?
yeah, 100%. Obviously, it had to do with it because um, now that I'm in longevity more, I realize that inflammation, which is the cause of death, and when you're able to take all these toxins away, inflammation goes away. The inflammation around your organs, within your organs, within your brain, within your vision, and all that. And I saw all that. So I had LASIK surgery, but LASIK, no matter what, is not 100%. And I remember when I was leaving there, and I've been in a hospital kind of a setting, even though I was outdoors, but I hadn't been in the public world, like outside, so distances and so forth. My eyesight was like completely clear.
Wow.
I lost a lot of muscle, and because I used to work out all the time, but I stopped working out. But I also lost, like, just like I was lean, and just there was no inflammation. So there's certainly shedding of all this other stuff, and it's like a layer by layer, kind of like what you say. It's like first I let go of all the belongings, and then I started letting go of a lot of the beliefs. I had to let go of what I've been taught as a doctor. We practice medicine here in the Western world by giving symptomatic relief by molecules that we make synthetically to get rid of headaches or to get rid of high blood pressure, diabetes, and so forth. We're just, and it really reconnected me with my original self when I was at Burning Man, thinking that I can't be part of this rat race. This is not right. I had no clue I'm going to go to India and figure this out. It was very freeing, even before I got there, to let go of my possessions and let go of a lot of my beliefs, let go of a lot of ideas of what's right and what's wrong, and let go of the idea that I need to constantly do stuff, produce stuff, and whatever I'm being, and to surrender, which I had no idea what that meant. Before I went there, material stuff was important to me. It was important to me that I drive a G-Wagon when it just first came out. It was just a status thing, right? And then when a lot, and you go to these changes, you're like, oh, I don't need this. And what Sufis talk about, or Kabbalah, we don't need this. I don't need this. We shouldn't have this material things.
Yeah.
Now what I've learned is that it is absolutely okay to have these things. Absolutely okay to enjoy them as long as you're not dependent on them for your happiness. Like, to me, I still have cool stuff now. Like, I love certain things, right? But I'm not dependent on it. I have a beautiful classic car. I love that car. But in reality, I don't give a shit, I just don't. My happiness doesn't depend on that at all. So that's a great lesson that I've learned. That to be able to enjoy things that are material,
Not be attached.
not be attached. And the unattachment is really what Sufis and Kabbalah and all that talks about. It's not having him, is not having that attachment.
Yeah,
to
but
it.
what you said that you kind of disagree with, that they say you shouldn't have it. I think it's like, it's a shadow of it, because it's up to human interpretation, of course. And a lot of humans, how they interpret it, they put it through their own belief systems. And if the belief system has any sort of blockage and lack, or the lack of ability to get to something, the gurus, they said we shouldn't have it. So then they won't have to deal with their own internal beliefs that I'm not good enough, or I can't have it, or I can't do it. So it's just easier to say, oh, you shouldn't have it. And that happens in a lot of spiritual practices all over the world. But I think that's beautiful to really firsthand experience that you can want things and you can have them, but being fully detached.
The dirtiest water in the world is in Ganges River in Varanasi. I witnessed it. People are defecating, peeing, washing their clothes, soap. This guy was shaving. They burned their dead. They're half dead, bodies floating down. That didn't. Some of the people that didn't have enough money to buy enough wood.
Oh my God, half burnt.
To burn the entire body.
Oh my
It's
God.
floating. It's just all kinds of stuff. The religious belief is that you got to go underneath this, 3 times. And these guys are gargling the water because they want to be more spiritual. I'm like, and then I'm like, oh my God. So I'm in a rickshaw, this little taxi guy driving me around, and this guy was incredible. This guy spoke 3 languages, was an engineer, was driving around with a rickshaw, taking people around, and he spoke perfect English. And I'm like, dude, I just don't get it. I can't believe these people are just putting their heads on the water and blah blah blah. And he goes, maybe for the Western world, you think that way, but when your mind and you believe in that religious experience, those people don't get sick. And I was just like blown away from the concept of belief. I don't think anybody's ever put me in my place like that. So I'm like, oh my God, it's right. Or I review journals all the time, and there was this Nobel Prize winner that came out. They looked at objects and they asked some of the top physicists in the world that how is it that we get these numbers, but from 3 different head science people, we showed them the same thing, and they're all getting different results, and they're both all experts, right? And what came out, it was just back then, had just come out, was that molecules, movement changes on who's looking at them, which is like, by the way, undermines everything we've learned in mathematics and physics, and nobody wants to talk about it because God forbid us as scientists go back and change reality, because everything would have to change. Let's put that aside. I'm in the city Rishikesh, where all these monasteries are there, and every day somebody's out there giving a speech and talk about philosophy, and it's all about spirituality. But on the rooftop, I'm sitting there having chai masala, and these guys are I started having a conversation with these guys that are gurus, swamis, that are just sitting there. They've been there for decades, meditating. And we have this conversation, and they're the ones that are telling me that, oh, of course molecules change by the perception of the person that's looking at them. I'm like, how did you know that? This is just like these known things that these people know. And us as scientists are spending lifetimes trying to prove this shit that these guys know. Again, appear versus internal knowledge. Yeah. Right? And I would see these people that defy reality. There was a Swami that lived in our monastery up there that lived on a glass of milk a day. That's all he had, a glass of milk a day. Wow. Walked 10 kilometers from our monastery to Rishikesh to give a talk and to meditate with some of those people, and walk 10 kilometers back to our monastery every day. Wow. And all he ate or drank was a glass of milk. for decades.
Crazy.
Another thing is, from that trip, I would see these people that have mansions and a lot of money in India, and next door is like a tent little house, and there is no envy. There is no, they treat each other like normal people. I don't know. It's just like it was an unbelievably humbling, eye-opening experience to be there. It changed me as a person. Once you're able to escape this reality, because we grow up and we live within these rules that we know we think is right, and you're able to step back and say, maybe there's another way. Maybe these doctors are right, or maybe these, religions or aliens, or just like open up to these things. I really got involved in creation, creating, bending reality, and that's how I created you.
You crying again?
It's unbelievable what we can do with our minds and our hearts, and defy our religious beliefs or the beliefs that have been given to us all these years, that is really hard to break, and I'm just gonna be able to put that aside and say, this is what I'm gonna create, and
Believe in the possibility.
and hence our podcast Uncommon, because the reality of unreality of what's possible when you're able to take yourself out of your own reality of what you believe is real.
Yeah, and to live a life that's more meaningful, more fulfilling. That's the goal, right? It's the goal to get to a point that you can create your own reality and what you want and what's meant for you, and have that level of deep connection. And it doesn't happen on a ordinary, common lives or people. It only happens to the uncommons.
And the uncommons.
Yeah.
But and don't get me wrong, it's not that, there's ups and downs like everything else. There's times that I'm like, oh, I need to make money today, even though I've been through all that stuff. And there's times that I'm like, like I'm zen. And so but going through some of these things, for me at least, I've been blessed enough to have the ability to do that, and to figure out that there is a world balance, and there's a commonality and unitedness between everyone. I don't care what your religious is, what color you are, it's like that means nothing to me. Right now in this time, like where Jews and Muslims and all this stuff, like when my mom's cancer came back and she was dying, the doctor that took care of my mom, this amazing guy, Muslim guy, that would pray 5 times a day. And he would go and pray for my mom. To this day, we're very close friends. I go and I fast with him and on Ramadan, and we break iftar together. And it's just like we're brothers, where people are killing each other because they have different religions. So I think anything is possible. And I'm just blessed to be here, and blessed to have you as my partner in life.
So if you guys wondered ever why I would put up with his crazy ass, this is why.